Hello everyone, my name is Jimmy Zamora and I am a student of UAT. Today I'll be diving into assignment 2.1, which is the factors of immersion. I wanted to make this video because I think it's impactful for me to show you guys a little bit of what I've been working on. And more importantly, obviously, I think it illustrates somewhat of the concept. The reason why we have the TV here today is actually I want to make sure that you guys see somewhat of what happens in the outside world versus the inside world, which is the VR. We're going to be diving into somewhat of a, the Quest 2 and one of the applications that I really want to kind of, get into and really put this rules of immersion or rules of VR into perspective, right? So some of the things that we kind of dive into is, obviously they plan correctly. Is the angles, are they taking care of the user? That way, obviously there's no motion sickness, there's no much crazy movement in the application, and obviously it's gonna get the discomfort that some of our VR users kind of experience. So that's something that I wanted to do here and obviously demo it for you guys. But one of the things that I really want to dive into is somewhat of the concept that I personally think is taking off and will take off fairly quick, if you ask me. And it's obviously this bunch of new users that have never used VR, and because of the price of the Quest 2 are starting to jump into. Obviously, after experiencing some of the applications myself, I can tell you that making a very simple and well themed and planned out application is going to really pay off for this first time users. But there's a lot of gamers, and then there's also the new generation of VR. Whether you're doing it for work or in this particular application that I'm going to be talking to you about, fitness. So I apologize if it's a little dark here, but I wanted to make sure that the resolution here and in the image looked very well. Like I said, I'll be demoing the VR Quest 2 console, and I'm gonna go ahead and obviously I'm gonna go ahead and cast for you guys. That way you guys get to see what I'm seeing. And that way we can start getting into somewhat of the assignment and really talk about what's important here about this application. So hopefully you guys can get to see me cast. I'm gonna go ahead and confirm that you guys can see me. Yep, that is a go. So cool. I have full cast capabilities on this right now. So the biggest thing that I wanted to do obviously is kind of go into a couple of things that I think is impactful for the users. And Oculus 2 just came out with a recent update of obviously Move, and I think it's a huge thing that Facebook and Oculus are doing, and is checking that obviously all the applications integrated with this new tracker reports the calories burnt. So that's why I do believe that I think that fitness applications are gonna really boom fairly soon. Let me go ahead and open the application that I wanted to demo today with you guys. And we're gonna start talking about what they did right, what they did wrong, and what is the application all about. So the application is called Fitness VR. And obviously they've done a couple things recently that I think it's interesting to kind of mention. So first thing that I wanted to kind of point out and put in perspective is obviously somewhat of the first impression, right? So automatically you start kind of feeling that vibe that you're here. Nothing is crazy happening to you. If anything, it's a lobby like LA Fitness, I would say. Oh no. Oh, perfect. Tracking loss. I actually have a circle here that is not too big. I'm not gonna work out today, to be honest. I just want to show you guys what this is obviously all about. So, like I said, there is an environment like LA Fitness, nothing really crazy going on. If I'm a first-time user and I'm looking at this, I'm gonna feel like, oh yeah, I've been to the gym. I know kind of what it looks like. It feels like that. I think it was interesting that they put somewhat of a receptionist there, even though there's nobody there. So you are literally entering a gym. You're picking up your profile. I think that's important. I think with this type of applications that are not games, I think it's important to kind of create and differentiate that you have your own profile. If my wife or somebody else wants to go ahead and work out, they can go ahead and everything will be true to them. So obviously, here we have somewhat of a lobby, and obviously it never changes. I've been playing this for about a week, and it never changes. So as you can see, you have your class of the day. You have the applications here, somewhat of the recommendations. You can buy packs. So I consider this kind of somewhat of the marketing, pamphlet or ad, if you may. They actually got me on one already. I do like this application a lot. I haven't been able to go to the gym a lot, and I do enjoy the boxing. They do differentiate dancing and boxing, which I think was impactful for the user that is coming in fairly quick and just gonna work out for maybe 10 minutes or 30 minutes. They also have a filter here where you can actually go into, hey, do I want the particular structure, the time, do I want to go medium, and how long do I want to go for the workout type of music. So I think that I think it was interesting that they did that. You know what I mean? I think it's interesting that as a user, they really kind of maybe perhaps got a couple of feedback from multiple users and said, hey, listen, for quick purposes or for just filter purposes, I would like to kind of be able to check a class fairly quick. If you were to select the class, this is kind of what you expect, right? You expect somewhat of a information based on how long is it going to take. Obviously 29 minutes. Is it going to be intense? Is it going to be moderate? So obviously that's something that's huge. Keep in mind that as I'm here right now, there's nothing else going on. And I think that gives the ability for the user to kind of stay in the lobby and really kind of marinate somewhat of what's about to happen. And what I mean by that as well is that this doesn't change ever. You have your home, your activity, the store, the community, and this is very consistent for somewhat of a user. So I think that when you're developing an application, depending on the application that you're doing, I think that's something that to consider. So they plan to keep things consistent for users that maybe perhaps for the very first time are going to work out on VR. And I think it's impactful. I think that's well thought out. If you have too much going on, then customers going to be very confused. Likelihood of not coming back is going to pretty much increase. It also tells you what you've done for a week, for a month, and overall. I did mention that Oculus does have this new application called Move, and honestly, it's way better than this, but it integrates seamlessly with it. So let's go ahead and take a look at what a class would look like. If you're a user, you just kind of get into, you probably will stand up and open up space to kind of work out, and kind of jump into. Some of the things that you're going to notice here is obviously that you're going to start seeing a player list. So obviously you're not by yourself, which I think is kind of huge, right? That's something that they did as a developer to make sure that that you're joining somebody. You got people over there, you got people over here, and you guys have probably played Beat Saber before, but very straightforward here in this environment, right? You got the points, you got the leaderboard, you got obviously the time session over there, you got people kind of that are working out already, and obviously things that they got going on here as well is in the bottom you got somewhat of a notification power bar that tells you how hard you are hitting this actual object that is coming at you. It's also going to tell you, obviously that you're in a streak, and that kind of incentivates, right? I'm in the last right now at the bottom because I'm not really paying, but if I was to kind of get, into it, I could rise up to the live track that's going on. And that's really all you want in a class, right? You don't want anything crazy. And I believe you can pause it. So, you can actually pause the game if you want to, quit, restart. So, obviously being able to kind of fix certain volume and masters gives you the option as a user to tweak your experience. Like I said, very simple application. There's not monsters running around. It's not a multi-layer. There's nothing going on as far as that. It's just you come here, you work this, you go into, you hit these things that are coming at you. It measures your fours, it measures your stand. And then that's it. You're here for 30 minutes. Very simple application, if you ask me. So, one of the biggest things that I think it's impactful is that they made it as simple and consistent for the user. One of the things that I did not like that they did was the fact that I purchased this particular pack and it took forever. This is actually the first time I see it showing up in my catalog. I would have kind of added a loading or maybe an estimated ETA time that it was going to load up. As a user, the last thing I want to do, and I actually thought about, was contacting the developers and say, hey, listen, I paid $9 for this. Obviously, where's my money? Or can we get this corrected? But as a whole, the application, the dynamics, the environment, very well thought out. It seems like they really are doing somewhat of a, I would say, easy for the user. Let me go ahead and light this up a little bit. That way we're not in the dark. But yeah, So I do think that that for the planning purposes, or obviously for the immersion purposes, they've really kept it very simple for us. They really did. They kept it simple. They kept it straightforward to the point. If you're a user that likes to work out, and you're just kind of maybe in between on if you're working from home or you're quarantined and you have no gym, I think the integration works great. I think it does. I think we overthink about somewhat of what is expected of a VR when application when is as simple as keep it consistent for the user. If you're working out, the last thing that you want to do is somebody messing with the angles of your camera. They kept the very first person shooter. You control the movement. Obviously, if you're working out, you're at the, I want to say, vulnerable stage of your sights and stability and equilibrium. But I mean, the last thing you want to do is somebody move in the camera and you kind of lose focus and maybe something happens, right? So we thought, there's some of the rules that really kind of stood out when really developing somewhat of a experience for somebody to really simulate working out. I can tell right now with the application that the Oculus comes with, which is Move, and this particular fitness application, I'm getting a heck of a workout. I really, it was one of like an aha moment for me when I was using it, that I'm like, wow, like I'm sweating, I'm so exhausted of this, and I feel great. I feel great, and it's really super easy to use. I have other games, but I think that as I was showing other people, family members of my house, that are not so technical savvy, this was probably one of the fastest, most instant gratification and impactful applications that I was able to show. And they got to work out. So that equates to them, hey, there's something here. I just worked out. I'm tired. I'm sweaty. Not only that, it recorded, how many calories I burned. So I now can, measure between a week and say, hey, I did this. Super easy click. So guys, once again, Jamie Zamora with UAT. Thank you so much for your time. If there's anything that I can help you out with, let me know. Any feedback, I'll be more than welcome to answer any questions. All right. Thank you.